Hello there. So you're wondering about what is nature therapy and what is nature journaling. So today we're going to be talking about the difference between real and imitation. Hi, I'm Marcia. Welcome back to Markets and Sunshine. And we are going to be delving into this topic a little more, and I'm going to share with you what I have found that it's worked best for me. So we're going to share 5 differences and 5 tips. So let's get started with tip number 1. So our first tip is having a flexible schedule. What is wonderful about doing nature therapy or nature journaling is the fact that you're in control. You have a flexible schedule. What is our target amount of time that we need in order to get the benefits from nature therapy is 2 hours a week. You can break that up into any amount of time. You don't have to do it in one straight shot, and you can do it in convenient locations. So we'll get into the real versus imitation here in just a minute. So now let's move on to tip number 2. So tip number 2 is work with your circumstances. So this is not something that you want to stress about. So start off with a routine that feels comfortable with you. So maybe you need to start off with 5 minutes. Maybe you need to start off with 10 minutes. So now let's talk about the real versus imitation. So real is being outdoors like what you see me here. I'm sitting under my gazebo in my nice comfortable recliner chair, and the trees are all around me. I have a beautiful wooded backyard, lots of plants, and I have bird feeders and squirrel feeders. So I have made a whole wonderful little outside nature habitat, because that's my way of keeping the nature here right at my fingertips. Some people may need to drive to a park. That's perfectly fine. Going to a state park, going to any kind of a park. Hopefully in your neighborhood where you live, there should be many parks around, and you can, anywhere that there's trees is what your goal is. So now let's move on to tip number 3. So tip number 3 is you want to document your experience. So that's where the nature journaling comes in. And let me share with you some of the cute little journals that I've made. And you've seen me make them here on my channel. And this one is using the cinch machine. So I don't know if I've shown you how to use that yet. So I think I will do that with a DIY video coming up pretty soon. But you see the cover is all with leaves and butterflies, very nature themed. And then this one was the paper bag journal. We did that little DIY here on my channel. And so it's just filled with pages where I can document going out into nature and having just a wonderful positive memory of the day that I went. Because let's face it, we all forget what we ate yesterday. Sometimes by dinner time you forgot what you ate for breakfast. So documenting it is another essential tip, and it's for our mental well-being, and it actually boosts your happiness hormones, and so it's definitely something that you want to incorporate. Again, it takes a minute to sit down and just write your experience in. So now let me share another tip that is all about, if you don't want to write in the journal, but we want to work up to that, getting into the journal. But let's start off with a photo. So you're out there in nature, you're enjoying your day, even if it's in your yard like I'm doing today, and you have a beautiful plant, or you see a beautiful bird, or whatever animal it is in your area. Take a picture of that, and then now make a little caption, and put that caption of the date and where you were, how you felt. That's journaling. Even if it's just, you know, shrinking it down, making it into small, bite-sized, comfortable pieces for your circumstances. Okay, now let's move on to tip number 4. Okay, so tip number 4 Now we're going to get into the differences between real nature therapy and imitation. Okay, so real is when you are outdoors in the nature setting. And it has been proven that it's not just walking down a busy city street. That doesn't constitute nature therapy. They've actually done scans. Stanford University did a study, and they scanned people's brains. So they had one group just walking down the streets where the campus was, and then they had another group that actually went into the park where all the trees and the nature were. Yes, there were trees lining the streets where they were working, but there were so many cars, so much traffic, that the ultimate relaxation that you're looking for and those hormones that bring the happiness and the relaxation and kick on the autonomic nervous system and all those healthy benefits did not take place. So it's been scientifically proven that you need to be in nature. Okay, so that's real nature therapy. So now let's move on to tip number 5. Guess where I am today? Oh, it's a beautiful day. The first time of being out walking on the beach in 3 years. Woohoo! Stay tuned. Port Orange, Florida. Okay. So tip number 5 is imitation, nature therapy. So imitation is just imitating nature. So it's not imitation as in a bad way. It's still a good way. You still will get benefits, but you won't get the intensity or the complete relaxation that you would get if you were out in the real nature. When you're hearing the wind blowing, like now, I don't know if you're hearing this, I'm outside, it's a very windy day. We just had a hurricane, Nicole, come through, and so we're still getting the wind from that. So imitation nature therapy is when you're indoors. Okay, so maybe you can't be outside for whatever reason. So how do you bring the indoors to you? So this is how we do it. So we're imitating nature indoors, thus imitation nature therapy. So we first start with house plants. You want to bring in house plants that you love. So start off with house plants that you love, but you also want to incorporate ones that put oxygen into the air. Spider plants, Boston ferns are the 2 great ones. You can go and look up a NASA study. NASA uses these as well. Boston fern is a very big top one. Spider plants, I forget all the names of the different ones. Anyway, they've escaped me right here at the moment. But just look up the NASA study, but you'll see the top plants, indoor top plants for putting oxygen into the air. Now you can also go to nature music. So sounds of the ocean, sounds of the wind blowing through the leaves of the trees, the birds, the water, the rain. Okay, this is imitating nature and bringing nature indoors. Yes, it relaxes us, it helps us to feel good, but you're not able to breathe in the salt air from the ocean. You're not breathing in the essential oils off the leaves of the trees by being outside in the real nature. So that's what I'm saying. This eliminates those steps. You're not able to put your feet into the ground of the sand and the ocean that's grounding you. That immediately stabilizes and calms our autonomic nervous system. So I spent an hour at the beach with my daughter, and I immediately, I don't remember now what point it was because I'd forgotten about that benefit, and it was just that calm came over me, and it was like, oh my word, I was bathed in that beautiful, all of those, dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin and endorphin hormones that you want for the happy moods and to just benefit your body all together came over me, and it lasted for like a week. It was just a beautiful feeling. So being in nature is the most wonderful thing that we can do for our health. You get natural antibiotics from the sun, you get vitamin D from the sun, you're doubling your T cells by being out in nature. Look up the study on that, and we're going to talk more about that in a future video. So thank you for being here with me today. If you found value in this video, please subscribe to my channel. And I'd like you to watch this next video that's going to be here at the end screen. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day. Stay safe and keep creating in the sunshine. Bye-bye.